9 to 5 job interviews are where you sell your soul forevermore. Is that true? Well, I think partly it is really. I think when you go into a job interview, you are selling a little bit of your soul, and that's what we're going to dive into in today's video. So everyone, welcome back to my channel. But before we get into the crux of it, I do want to say at the very beginning, I am not against jobs. I worked a good part of my adult life in the 9 to 5, and we all have to earn money, but I did escape my job because I wanted to design my life rather than being assigned one. And also I was hyper aware that I've got everything at my fingertips to change my life. So that's what I did. So there is nothing wrong with jobs, but I think there are a lot of problems that need addressing, and I want to give you some of the red flags and the things to look out for before you accept a job, and when you go into the job interviews to do these phase 1 interview, phase 2, phase 3, and it's got ridiculous, right? So let's go through some of it. Now the purpose is to wake you up and just give you a bit more information so that you're thinking clearly when you go into a job interview and you don't fall for their soul-selling tactics to condition you to be a worker bee. I want you to think clearly and outside the box and almost interview them subconsciously rather than them telling you how it's going to be. Because as we've seen, too many people have ended up in a job for 10, 15 years, loss of identity, mental health problems, over-invested time into a company, got rid of, and they're like, what the hell do I do with my life? I've wasted time. And time is the most precious asset that we have, so let's value it. So what is wrong with the job interview process? So let's go through this. Number 1, it's a test of your willingness to conform. So they want to sit you down and they want to understand what you're like as a person. How did you serve your previous employers? The length of service, how good were you? And they'll probe you on questions such as, what did you do in your last job? How long were you there for? Why did you leave? What, when, and why? They want answers to all of this. And what that is that's just probing to get a good feel to see if you can conform to orders and if you can serve. Now, many of you will disagree because there are people always out there who will say, no, they just want to make sure you're right for the job and this and that. But ultimately what it is, they just want to know, will you do as you're told without pushing back? Because people in the 9 to 5 in senior positions, they didn't like people like me and possibly you if you have a backbone and you speak up. So if a manager came up to me and said, Aaron, we're doing this, and I didn't agree with it, I would say, well, I don't think we should do it like that for X, Y, and Z reason. And I would come up with my own solution. They don't like that. They want to crack the whip and they need you to do as you are told. So that is really the first process, to understand, are you a conformer and will you do as you're told? I didn't like that. I've never liked being told what to do because I can think for myself, right? And I hope that resonates with you. Number 2, it's to probe to find out and make sure that you don't have outside interests or side businesses or bigger aspirations. They don't want you coming into a company thinking outside the box, having an entrepreneurial flair about you, and having a side business for many different reasons. One, it means they don't want to invest time and money into you. And I kind of get that. They don't want to spend time investing into someone that might end up leaving. But this is from the interviewee's point of view where it's wrong, because they want you to reveal everything about your outside life. You shouldn't have to. Now, what I really disagree with at the moment is companies now are getting you to answer this question to reveal if you have any side businesses. And if you do, I bet your last bottom dollar it's unlikely you're going to get the job, because they don't want you being entrepreneurial. They don't want you thinking outside the box, being creative. They don't want you coming up with too many solutions. One, the senior leaders who are interviewing you might think, well, they could take my job. They seem pretty clued up. But also, they don't know what type of business that you're running, and they might think, well, he's coming into the business to steal ideas or information perhaps. Again, I also understand that from the company's point of view, but they shouldn't need to know this because it should be talking about the job, right? Not what you do outside. I was never down with that. I do not like it when they probe to find out if you have dreams, goals, and aspirations. It's none of their business. Number 3, they are conditioning you to accept a paycheck. Now, this is where I do have a problem. Let me ask you all a question. Seriously, and just answer it, and maybe answer it in the comments. Let me know how much you think you're worth per hour. Some of you probably don't even know what you're worth per hour, but they want you to be conditioned to live to the wage, slavery wage as we all know it, right? Why do you think you're only worth 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 pound an hour? Think about this, and this is a wake up moment in the video. You might have knowledge and experience and things that you've been through in your life which amount to a certain type of value per hour. You might have gone through things that actually you provide so much value to other people that you might not even know about. You could be worth £200 an hour, and you're willing to accept this measly 12, 15, 18, 25, 30, 35 pound an hour, and you're okay with that. And then what happens is you become trapped and financially dependent on that wage because you start living your life to that wage. And this is the dangerous part, and this is what I really don't like about the 9-to-5 system, is they get you accustomed to living to a wage. Never get comfortable or be okay as a human being with the most precious asset, which is time. Again, imagine if you could see your death clock ticking down. Would you be happy to sign yourself off at £13.75p? Are you happy with that? 40 hours a week at 13 quid an hour. Come on, you are worth more than that. I don't even know you and you know who's watching me right now, but I know you're worth more than 13, 15, 20 pound an hour. So go out and get what you're worth. Opportunity is everywhere. So never accept what you're being told that you're worth of whatever they're willing to pay you. You're worth more. Now, number 4, they want you to pitch and sell your strengths to the company, but they don't want you talking about strengths that you have elsewhere or outside of the company. What fits the role? That's what they want to know about. They don't want to know about your entrepreneurial traits. They don't want to know that you're an outside the box type of thinker, that you could overtake the interviewer, the senior leader who is in front of you. He doesn't want to think that you're coming for his job. They just want to know that you have strengths to complete the task of the job role that is at hand. So this is a very fine line. Say enough, but not too much. Because if they think you're entrepreneurial and you think for yourself and you're a bit of a creative, you could cause a rod for your own back, and they're like, this person could take over my job, your job, and potentially end up being our boss. We don't want that. We want control. We just want someone who can do the job in a robotic order. That's all we want. That's what we're hiring for. We don't want someone who's got big old dreams to take over my job, your job, and their job. So you don't want to say too much. Again, that's mad, because again, what's that doing? You are suppressing yourself. You might have so many qualities in a job interview that you want to share. You know, you want to tell them about all the achievements and the accolades that you've got, right? But you can't, because then you might have said too much. I mean, the whole thing's backwards if you ask me, and this is what I mean. You're kind of selling your soul because you're starting the suppression. And as we know, so many people are hitting midlife crisis and having all these mental health issues because they've been suppressed in a job for so long, right? And number 5, they want to condition you to serve the company and meet their expectations, such as coming in early, staying late. Make sure you come out on the social gatherings. You know, we really want to get to know you. And don't forget to answer the works phone on the weekends, by the way. We might call you. Oh, and make sure you read your emails, because we really want to see your commitment outside of work. No, don't do that. No. That is a boundary that is being broken. That's the problem. They want to sign you up for boundary breaking. Don't do it. Honestly, you're going to create a rod for your own back. Honestly, don't do it. Now, coming in early and the whole staying late, if they have a work culture where that is acceptable, I would run a mile. You are signing something which is going to cause you so many problems. If you can see that there is a culture where people are going above and beyond, but the pay remains the same, and that is the standard, but it's not included in your contract hours, honestly, red flag, run a mile. Now, you must see a job interview as you are interviewing them. And there are red flags that you should be looking out for. And you are within your right, by the way, and some of you won't do this because you're too fearful. That's the God's honest truth. You're too scared to do what I'm about to say. Interview them. So when they've asked you a question, answer it. You know, just be mindful again of the answers that you give them. Ask them, just out of curiosity, what's kind of like staff turnover like here? If they delay and they don't want to answer that, it's very unlikely you're going to get the job now anyway, because they realise you're clued up, which you should be. So this is kind of the catch-22. You should be able to ask, if there's a high turnover. If they don't want to answer that, it's now very unlikely you're going to get the job because they realize you have values and standards and that you expect, again, values and standards from the company. They're not going to like that because that's going to show that you are someone who is willing to think and say, speak their mind, right? So that's kind of the catch-22, is that you might not get the job. But you need to ask those questions, because if you don't, the alternative is, if you don't ask the question and you let that one go under the carpet and you accept the job and company staff turnover is high, again, it's the beginning of the suppression. It's the beginning of selling your soul. You've already sold it at that point, okay? You've accepted the job, your wife's over the moon, your husband's over the moon, and now you're gonna start paying your bills again or whatever it might be. But now you've created a rod for your own back and you've joined a company where no one's happy. The other thing is, ask about the company culture. Ask about, do you do lots of work dues? Seem interested, but what you're doing is like doing a bit of a recce, getting intelligence. Do you do social gatherings? Kind of what do you get up to? What's the bonding like? Just ask about what they get up to. Like, what's the company culture like? And if they answer, we are all a family here and we go above and beyond and we'll always go out our way for each other, I would see that as a red flag, and that you'll probably be expected to do exactly the same. And if you don't, instantly you'll be the one that's singled out. And I can tell you this from firsthand. On my TikTok, my Instagram, my YouTube, any other kind of emails, inbounds that I get from all different areas of my socials, all of these types of problems are very, very real. Aaron, I'm dealing with this, I'm expected to do this, I'm suffering with anxiety now, I have depression, I hate Sundays, going into work on Monday, I don't know how to get out, how do I deal with this person, I'm in debt now, I need my job because I'm living wage to wage, paycheck to paycheck. And it all started from that job interview. You need to listen and be mindful of what is being said to you, what you say to them, and what they want to know about you, and the expectations and the company culture, values and standards. You have to be mindful, because if not, I know it's a big punchy line, but if not, you will end up selling your soul. Now, I just want to throw an alternative, Aaron, what do we do then? Well, there's two things, right? You either job hop, so you move around a lot more. Every year and a half, move on to a different job, go into a higher position, higher pay, right? It's always a good option, especially in today's age that we live in. Number two is start a business. Now, I know some of you will write this off immediately and, well, Aaron, not everyone can run a business. True. But have you given it a go? Have you even tried? You have everything at your fingertips. At the end of this video, I'm going to give you my full course tutorial on how to start an online business and quit your job. It's all for free. It's about 94 minutes long. I teach you everything about starting your first business and being able to replace your salary, all for free, and it's possible. But you need to do what is said in the video. Or you start on the side. So you work a job, maybe you can drop down to part-time, and you just start a little passion project. Maybe it's not for money. You just start something. You start trialing and just exploring different things that you like, which are more passions, right? Because you can pretty much monetize most things now. So if you don't want to build a big old business, well, you could monetize a personal brand by just doing things that you're passionate about. Fitness, lifestyle, travel, photography. And that's why I say in the job interview, be very, very mindful about telling them that you have outside interests. And a final tip I want to give to all of you. If you do accept a job interview and you start in a company, block, and I know this sounds bold, but you've seen it in my other videos, block co-workers. And I say this from a place of love, right? And a place of wisdom and experience and, first-hand seeing the good, the bad, and the ugly. Block co-workers and don't let them see your outside life. Because if you do go on to do something for yourself, or you have plans, or you want to do things outside of work, you need to keep a boundary of people not prying. Because in the 9 to 5, it is a competitive, situational environment that everyone is out for themselves to feed their families. And if something outside of work could be leveraged against you in order to better someone else's position and get them further ahead, they will use that. Eliminate that threat by blocking people as soon as you start a new job. There are some people that's going to say, well, it's OTT, and I've met some of my best friends and I've married my okay, whatever. There might be the odd case where a genuine friendship is made. I'm not knocking it. I actually have a good friend who was a co-worker, but we were very mentally at the same place, right? So be mindful of a job interview. Yes, it is the beginning of selling your soul If you don't go in with an open mind and watch what you say, look for telltale signs and the red flags, and remember to interview them. Don't let them interview you and suppress you as a character. Do not forget about all the dreams that you had when you were younger. All the goals, all the things you wanted to do in life. Do not forget those just for a salary. We've all got to pay bills. I know we have, but there are so many ways to pay bills. Don't give up your entire life and accept a job that will crush and destroy you as a person. You know, the World Health Organization did a report, and it's far more than this, I just know it, but, you know, diagnosed with something like 291 million people were clinically diagnosed with depression due to the workplace. And Gallup's, one of the largest surveyors in the workplace, 2024, late 2024, people that dislike their jobs due to all different problems of bullying and harassment and all this kind of stuff, 77% of working adults globally. That's 2.62 billion people around the world on a factual study that do not like their job. And it's around about 80% in the UK. Around about 43 million adults are unhappy in their jobs. Why? Because they sold their soul in the job interview and now they're trapped and they're a slave to the wage. I wish you all the best. Again, my full course tutorial will be at the end of this video. I really am coming from a place of love. I'm rooting for every single one of you. Let me know what you resonated with. Have you ever seen any red flags? Are you going through a job interview? Let me know. I reply to all of you. You all know that. And until next time, peace out.